So today we're going to do Crossword Blooms, where we draw a flower, color it using colored pencil, and then you're going to apply words like a crossword puzzle into your art. There's going to be a couple of different ways that you can do this lesson. The first way that I'm going to show you is the way that I would recommend doing it, which is to use the drawings of flowers that you're given in the lesson, and you're going to draw it onto your paper, okay? Now, the thing about these flowers is that you can tell, like, this is your reference, your color reference. This is the line drawing. It doesn't look exactly like this, but this is going to give you a fairly good idea of how to get started. And you have multiple different versions and ways of drawing. You can make it more decorative like this, or more realistic like this. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use like a combination of both. And I'm going to use my reference in addition to this drawing to kind of get started. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to draw my flower in pencil, and where I want to put it, I want to make it I want to take up about a quarter of the page, because I want to do a crossword lines behind it. So you want to have space for that, and you want to have space for your word. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my flower like around this area here. I'm going to kind of give myself an idea of a circle. If you want to use a compass, it can help you just keep the petals around the same symmetrical length. You don't have to do that, that's up to you. And then I'm going to do the center of the flower. I'm going to try to draw a little bit darker for you guys. But I am going to go over this in Sharpie, so you'll definitely be able to see it at that point. And I also want you to think about the fact that it doesn't have to be perfect, okay, you guys? If you could print out a perfect, just like this, image of a zinnia flower, which is what this is, or you could have a hand-painted version. Which would you choose? You'd probably say hand-painted. So that's why I want you to think about making this your own. Try to do the best you can, but also remember to keep it loose. It's not supposed to be a hyper-realistic image, okay? So all I'm doing is I'm going around and making these little flowers around the edges. I'm just doing some decorative lines that look a little bit like the center. And then you're going to come back over it using colored pencils. So that's my center of my flower. And then I'm going to start doing the petals, these center ones. And there's like some that are in the foreground. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like there's like 9 that are in the foreground. And there's 1, 2, 3 layers. So I'm going to kind of give myself another little bit of a guide. The different layers. I chose one that was a little bit more complicated. There are simpler flowers in there, you guys. So choose something. My recommendation is to choose something that is going to challenge you, because otherwise you're just going to be bored during class, and that's no fun. So pick something that's going to challenge you, but also something that's not so hard that you're going to get frustrated, okay? All right, so 9 of these little ones. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'll try not to spin my paper. I love to spin my paper, but for the sake of the video, I'll try to keep it straight. You guys feel free to, if you move your paper around, it can sometimes be helpful. And see how that circle is just kind of guiding me? Erase the lines as you need to, just so that you don't get confused, but you are going to go over this with ink, so you will end up erasing all of your pencil lines anyway. So here we go. That looks okay. I'm going to do another bigger one here that's hidden, and another bigger one here, and do one here, and then I'm going to go ahead and go out. I mean, the other thing I wanted to say really quick is, like, if you guys want, if there's someone who really wants to do a modification, like to do a leaf or some other natural form instead of a flower, I think your teacher, you can talk to your teacher about that, and maybe they will let you do that. Okay, so there's my line drawing, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to outline everything in ink, and this is really kind of the fun part for me, because you don't have to stress really about the drawing as much, and you can also fix stuff if you want. To a certain degree. Don't change things too much without, if you really don't like something, you can always go in and erase it and redraw it before you do the ink. If you just start going crazy with ink and not paying attention to your pencil lines, that could spell trouble. So definitely pay attention to your pencil lines, but if you need to, like, make them a little bigger or something, you can. And try to remember that as you're creating your flower, that the more detail you add, and when you add your color, it's going to hide a lot of things that you might not like. So try not to stress too much, and try not to be too hard on yourselves for the way you're drawing your flower. The other thing I wanted to say, there is other ways that you can do this assignment. If your teacher wants you to, you could color this, cut it out, place it onto this grid, and then put your word and color in some of the squares black. But I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to demonstrate it this way, and then I'll give instructions for how to do it the other way. I'm just adding some decorative lines. This just helps add detail and texture to your drawing. So I'm going to ask that you do some kind of embellishment to your flower. However you want that to be is fine. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase my lines. That's like one of my favorite parts. I'm just going to give it a shake real quick. Make sure the ink is dry. It's kind of hot in my office right now, so hopefully I don't get any smears. Try to keep your hands off of it, because even though it's Sharpie, it will smear if you have sweaty hands or wet hands and you're going right on top of it with your hands, it's possible that it will smear. So just try to keep your hands off as much as you can. Do a good job erasing. It's part of that craftsmanship you'll be graded on. Okay, and then let's get rid of all of the eraser bits. And then see if there's anything that you want to fix or anything you want to add. All right, so here's some colors that I have. Now you're gonna want to do some blending. Okay, sorry, I just got a different color. Okay, so I'm gonna start with yellow. And I want you to notice all of these different shades in here, okay? So the ends are the lightest yellow, and then they kind of go into a brown. And this is gonna be the part where it's really gonna make your artwork stand out, or you're gonna kind of fall down a little bit on the execution. You wanna make sure that you're doing your shading, okay? Now, I'm telling you right now, I am doing a quick demonstration, and I know for a fact that you guys are gonna do a way better job than I am. If you're anything like my students, I know you will, because you're gonna, number one, have a lot more time, and number two, your eyes are way better than mine at this point in my life. So that will make it easier for you. And also, you guys are just way more talented. Let's just face it. Way more creative. Your brains are still flexible. Okay, so that, and then I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do the ends of these yellow. Again, I'm not trying for 100% realism here, but I am definitely wanting to see that you guys did blending. I definitely do not want to see it just look colored. I want to see some blending and some knowledge of how to do blending with colored pencil, okay? And that will be part of your grade. So make sure you're doing that. Okay, so now I get to do the pink. And I think I really like the way that the outside of the petals are like this really pretty light color. Okay, so I did a little bit. Now I'm coming back. I didn't feel like making you watch the whole part. And I'm actually going to pause it again here in a minute, but I wanted to show you that I went over this with white to kind of blend it a little bit more. And you can do that, or if you have a blending pencil, you can try doing that as well. But I'm gonna keep the recording on for a little bit while I keep coloring and filling this in, I should say, because I want you to see how I'm layering the colors so that everything is unified when it's done. Because this is looking the same as the outside, but it's not gonna be. In a minute, I'm gonna come back over it with a darker color. Actually, I'll just do that now while you're watching. I think I'm gonna use the darker pink. So this outside ring is lighter, And then the middle ring is like a darker pink. So I'm gonna come in here with the darker. And then I'm gonna come back over it again with the lighter pink again. Just to keep it nice and blended. So then if I come back over this with the lighter pink, you can see how it's blending those colors. I don't know if you can really see it on the video or not, but I will zoom in. Again, I am doing this pretty quickly, you guys. I'm sure that you're gonna do it a little bit more slowly, but at the same time, like, I just wanted to give you an idea of, you know, how to blend. It's usually better if you go with the darker color first and then blend with your lighter color, okay? But layers are super important. All right, pausing again. So now I'm coming back in and I'm looking to see which are the petals in the foreground and which are the ones in the underneath. And so I'm giving the ones that are underneath a little bit darker shading. Should have no white paper when you're done, by the way. Okay, so now we have our flower and we have done some blending on it. We did some decorative lines, and now I have this ruler, which I really like. Hopefully you guys have one like this, because it's clear. From this line to this line is 1 inch, and from here to here is a 1/2 inch. And so I'm just gonna do a 1/2 inch grid. And the way that you do that, I'm just gonna do it with directly in Sharpie, is you see right here where that's the 1/2 inch line right here. And then you're just gonna line that up to the bottom of your page. And you're gonna hold it really tight with your non-dominant hand. And then you're just gonna come along the top of the ruler with your Sharpie. And you're gonna stop when you get to your flower. And so then you're gonna line the line up again to the line that you just drew. Now, if you don't have this kind of ruler, you can do it. You just wanna measure on both sides, or all 4 sides actually, of your paper. You're gonna measure a 1/2 inch all the way around, make little marks, and then connect the lines. The other thing you could do if you had to was, if you drew your own flower, and you could cut it out and you could place it on this grid paper. The other reason you could use that grid paper is if you used a pre-existing flower template and you just colored that template, you would cut it out and glue it onto the grid template. So I've got it lined one direction, and I'm going to come back and do the same thing the other direction to make it like a crossword, lining that line up to the edge of my page again. And when you get to your flower, you want to make sure that you are stopping when you hit the flower. If I had to do this over, I probably wouldn't have it quite as close to the edge, which you guys can use that piece of information on yours. Just maybe make sure it's not quite so close to the edge. It's probably a little better. Okay, I'm excited because I'm finally getting to the fun part, which my mom's birthday was last weekend and I did not get her card. I did take her to Michigan, but I didn't get her card, and so I was gonna make this into her birthday card. And since it's like a crossword puzzle kind of theme, I'll show you how you're gonna do that. Now you can just use 2 words or you can use multiple words. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say happy birthday. And I think I'm gonna do mom too, but I'm gonna do it first in pencil, okay? And I'm gonna do like, let's see, I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, happy. So maybe I wanna do birthday first, and I'm gonna have it come like, start here and go like B-I-R-T-H-D-A-Y, and then I'm gonna go happy this way, so happy birthday, and then I'm just gonna put mom over here. Okay, and then now, you know how crosswords have like some dark areas? I'm gonna do a couple of dark. This is great because what this is gonna do is it's gonna add contrast to your art, but you don't feel like you have to do too many, okay? You don't have to do it like a real crossword. I'm gonna do mine in pencil first to make sure I like it. I think that's good. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna erase. You guys don't have to do that if you don't want. I just wanted to make sure I like it. So I'm gonna do these 3 black. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna outline them first. Okay, so once the squares are outlined, you can come back in with a thicker Sharpie and fill those in. You want to think about things like your composition, where your flower is placed, where your words are placed, and where your black boxes are placed. The black boxes are awesome because they create what's called contrast in your design. And the contrast adds visual interest, and it makes the whole piece pop. So you want to use enough black squares that it has that contrast and it has a good balance and composition, but you don't want to use too many that it overwhelms the flower and the message. Okay, so I've got my squares, and then I'm gonna, I'll just write over my words. If you want to find a font or something that's a little cooler than what I'm doing, you can. Or you can just do it in your writing like I am. If you choose to do a font, make sure you do it in pencil exactly the way you want it. I'm erasing the pencil, and I think I'm done. Yay. Oh, sorry. So, there you go. Happy birthday, Mom. Love, Sabrina. That's mine, and yours can say whatever you want it to say, okay? Have fun with these. I'd love to see some of your creation. Share some with me at A Space to Create Art on Instagram or TikTok. This video was created by Sabrina Wingren at A Space to Create Art.